How the hell does like 23 minutes go by so quickly? This has been happening for like the last few episodes of Assassination Classroom, and on one hand it's a good thing, on the other hand it's like I want more, but you won't give me more until like the next week, and you're like, oh, waiting. But on a more serious note, this episode was fantastic. I enjoyed it. I loved all the twists and turns that this episode gave, because there's spoilers just in case, but I'm assuming you watched the episode. But like towards the end, where what's his face shows up, or rather like Mr. Anger Issues Sensei comes back, and he's revealed to be the big villain that was doing all this to the students, because after his incident with Class 3E, he's been like, oh yeah, this guy, all his peers, his work buddies are like, oh, he sucks. He was praising all about his like teaching skills, but he got one up by a bunch of students. But when he blew up the antidote for the virus, I was like, whoa, what the hell? Because first, like, my shonen thought process was like, oh, he's just gonna eat, like, Nagisa's gonna, like, kick his butt as soon as he throws it, and then, like, stab him. I don't know what Nagisa was gonna do, but, like, they were gonna get the antidote, but now the antidote's gone. So I'm assuming Koro-Sensei's gonna come back and, like, whip up something, hopefully that happens. I don't know how they're gonna cure Class 3E, because I saw the preview for the next episode, and they go back to the classroom, because I think everything resolves within the next episode. But then when you see, like, you don't see a group of students, but you're in the field and you're seeing students, and you don't see as much of the students as Class 3E, because I don't know, I think Class 3 is like 30 students, and you only see about, like, on screen you only see about 10. But I think either A, the students are recovering from the virus, or B, the kids don't make it, which I hope B is not the situation and it's the A situation. But not only that, Class 3E as a group take on the soup gun loving guy, which I thought he's been weird, and he gives off a reason on why he tastes his gun a lot, which was still weird and doesn't justify anything. But it was great seeing some character progression, some character building with Chiba, I think her name is, the girl who's a good marksman, and then I don't remember Eroji MC Kun's real name, his whatever. But you saw his eyes this episode, which I thought was cool, and you also see why they're so silent, because they decide to take on everything themselves, or they keep everything to themselves, and it's just great seeing like character development and see why each student acts like a certain way. And then Koro-Sensei's speech to the two of them about just like, you don't have to bear things on your own anymore. You have a class, you have friends, and you have dealt with failure. That's why you are in Class 3E, and it was just fantastic. I loved it. Only thing I think it was supposed to be more comedic than anything, but like how Koro-Sensei was doing it in the middle of like an like during that gunfight or firefight, that's the correct term. I was like, I don't think that was the time to say that, Koro-Sensei. I think the students kind of had to deal with this guy. You could give the speech after, but not now. But nonetheless, it was still fantastic, and I loved it. And then Mr. McAnger Ichu Sensei decides, like right after his reveal, and when they're on the rooftop, he explains what he was actually going to do with, like, Nagisa and his friend, the girl with the green hair. I still don't remember her name, because they don't, I feel like they say it a lot, but, like, she slips my mind because she hasn't had like a key character development moment, which I'm assuming something in season 2 is gonna happen with that and explain why Nagisa is always somewhat like why he looks like a trap, meaning like he's a boy but he looks like a girl. But hopefully they explain that. But anyway, Mr. Anger Issue Sensei was like, oh, I was gonna use the girl, I was gonna put her in a bathtub with like a bunch of anti-Koro-Sensei BBs, and then I'm gonna bury her alive in cement. I was like, whoa, that got dark really quick. And then not only that, he was gonna like beat up Nagisa, and then he challenged Nagisa to 1v1 again, that's my dog, again to like get revenge on what happened last time, which I believe was episode 14, I think. I don't exactly remember why, but yeah, it was, they do it, and then everything happens that I explained earlier, and I was like, what is gonna happen now? Because Nagisa, he picks up the blade, and it looks like his bloodlust came in. Because remember, Nagisa, his bloodlust that it hasn't been talked about, and I'm assuming it's gonna get talked about later in the season. And then it gets to a point where both Karasuma and Koro-Sensei were scared. Well, scared might be an over-exaggeration, but definitely they were worried on what was gonna happen. and they were definitely not worried about Well, they were somewhat worried about Nagisa, like how far he was gonna go, but they were definitely worried about what he was going to do with like freaking Mr. Anger Issue Sensei. I don't know, maybe Koro-Sensei comes out of his ultimate defense form and, you know, just wrecks shop or like stops Nagisa before it's too late. Maybe something along the lines of that. But again, we have the students, and we also learned that Terasaka, he got infected, but he was like, I messed up too many times with this class that I can pull through. And then everything kind of goes south, and Nagisa sees this, and then he's like, aw crap, and then like his blood is boiling, he gets like the bloodlust, and I'm like, oh snap, what's gonna happen? Cliffhanger. And I'm like, why, Wit Studio, why? But just to wrap it all up, I thought this episode was fantastic. If you guys haven't seen my last two videos, I believe it was, I don't necessarily want to give grades out to these episodes, because I guess these, like, my grades are so subjective, and it's just like, oh, this episode feels like an A, this episode, to be honest, I just choose like A, B, C. Like if it's a mediocre episode, I'm gonna let you know it's a mediocre episode. But you know, this episode was fantastic. I believe it's called Double X Time. I think that was supposed to symbolize the X's and I's. I think when somebody's knocked out or dead. But you know, it was a fantastic episode. I also want to note, for those of you who watched this, I believe I announced in my Fairy Tail review that I was gonna, you know, start reviewing Food Wars once I caught up, and I was hoping to catch up this week, but that life decided, hey, you're gonna be busy this episode or this week, and you know, yeah, I didn't get to. I got like very little time to watch anime, either that or I was like doing other stuff. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to review Food Wars by the time it catches up, but yeah, there's that. Anyway, I do hope you guys enjoy this review, and thanks for watching. But don't forget to leave a like if you think the video deserves it. Subscribe to my channel if you like what you saw and you haven't already. I'll see you guys on next time for, I believe, Fairy Tail, and then Snafu right after that. So until then, bye-bye.